So Carly and I got back a little while ago now from thrifting. We had a long day. We got a mountain of clothes and just some fun stuff from Christmas. And I wanted to just sit back and enjoy myself. I got a little bit of footage that you saw in the intro for this video, but mostly this is going to be a talking head video where I talk about some stuff that I've purchased that is now coming in the mail, and actually stuff that I'm going to sell alongside my content goals for 2026. So we'll move into the goals and stuff a bit later. Let's first talk about this whole new gear situation that I'm currently dealing with. So again, I'm back on the Hollyland microphones. I want to use them for this whole video as I just want to play around with them more and get used to EQing them, using them, the whole 9 yards. The second thing that I purchased for my content specifically, this is specifically for my content, is this newer small tripod. This is technically a travel tripod, but man, this thing is is beefy. It's made of all metal. It's this tiny little design. It's so nice. And my plan is currently to have it set like this. I'm gonna set it up here in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna move my one monitor off the desk so that you can actually see over. Jesus Christ. Told you this thing's made of metal, so I'm trying not to swing it around too much. Let me set it right here. You can see the monitor right back there in the corner of the frame. I'm actually gonna pull that monitor off my desk because for the time being, I don't really use it, and it would be better, in my opinion, to have like a content corner where I could set up this mini tripod. And not only could I set this up, but it's movable around the house. It has some slight like height adjustments, but it's nothing crazy. I didn't need anything super tall. I have tall and big tripods. What I didn't have was something small enough that wasn't one of these tripods. So I've had this Ulanzi tripod for a long time. And the problem with the Ulanzi tripod is that it's really flimsy. It does have some height, which is nice, but realistically speaking, it only really works with my pocket camera because it can't handle the weight of anything else. And this was my first vlogging tripod. I got this in like 2020, and it's done its job and it still works for certain things, but most of the time I don't use it. And the second tripod that I actually got, man, I don't know, 6-7 months ago now. It's been a while, but I got the Ulanzi like foldable tripod. This one, the one that you click the button and it flings out with the little, has the hook. It's like the PGY Tech one, but way less expensive. And it automatically flicks out. You don't have to like do anything yourself, which is fantastic. And the only problem that I've found with this tripod, and the reason why I wanted to get a new one for certain aspects, is one, it doesn't move, so I can't make it taller or smaller. This is the height that it is, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. And 9 times out of 10, I would rather it be great than not. And this really only has certain purposes, which I will explain in a moment. So for a while, I invested in these. These are not the foul cam quick release plates, but they are a different type. You can see it on the side of this if I cover my face. It's TT38, which is this different style of quick release plate that Ulanzi creates that I've invested. I have like 4 or 5, 6 of these plates and a handful of other things. And so this plate is pretty small, and I have cages on every single one of my cameras essentially that has the Arca Swiss mount built into them, which means that I have to take this and then place it onto my cage, add extra height. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, and it's kind of a waste of time. So I purchased this tripod because now I can slide my Arca plate tripods in. If I actually would loosen this, I can slide my Arca Swiss tripods in here, tighten this down, and then boom, now my camera is safely secured, and I can even attach one of these to the side if I wanted to, like so. If I wanted to do vertical content, let's just say, and then I put this in instead, tighten this down, and then boom, I have a slightly usable vertical rig. Obviously it needs to be tightened better and a bunch of other stuff, but I was looking for a thing that could get me a little bit closer to something that's super fast and simple to record with. So that's why I purchased this. Some stuff that's not so fun. I got another V-mount battery. This one is the newer Basics 99 watt hour battery. I really needed a third one for my podcast setup, and I got another one of these newer V-mount plates that my tripod plate is currently sitting onto for specifically my 3-camera podcast setups. I'm looking to, in the new year, and as you can say, I normally don't have this camera off, so as you know, I have some stuff I need to talk to you about. But I'm looking to invest in a second ZV-E10, the original ZV-E10, for my like low tier podcasts where using 8-bit cameras and not color grading and stuff is all right. And so I needed to have a third battery and a third setup just for that specifically. I also got a couple more small cables. I have a few right angle to right angle cables, but for the specific cameras and the way that they're oriented, I really need a right angle to flat cable. So I got 2 of these, so I have them in the kit just in case I need one depending on the camera I'm using. All right, this has been a lot of yapping with literally no camera changes, but I want to explain to you what is in this box. I can actually make my thumbnail right now. Where can I make my thumbnail? Can I move my camera like this? Yeah, let me move my camera like this, and then go like this, and then go. So I'm selling off 4 cameras and 4 lenses, which is a lot of stuff. But this will allow me to purchase something that I think will be a lot better for content moving forward. So I'm gonna set up this little at the desk place, and then let's continue to talk there because I wanna try this out and see how it all works. All right, and we're back on the 11 to 18. I miss having like a zoom feature. Even just a slight punch in is way nicer than I give it credit for now that I use the 9mm to vlog on all the time. But welcome to iteration 1 of the at-home studio setup. So I think 2026 is going to end up being my most transformative year on YouTube. I've been doing things the same way for as long as I can remember, and I am so ready for a change to happen. Like Pancake Wizard 12, that brand, I've been using it as a crutch for Lord knows how long, just clinging to it in hopes that everything will constantly and forever stay the same. Well, times are finally going to change. Probably. I don't know when, I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm not sure what Tri-Attack and Pancake Wizard 12 are going to become this year. There's a lot of chatting that needs to happen between my friends and myself to just figure out what that looks like and where we're headed and where we're going. But I do know that this channel, I want to put more of my effort into it. And I'm excited about that. So I kind of teased this in the last shot before I set this up. But I have a box. I don't know if I just showed my address, but I have a box full of gear that I have to pack up so I can send it off to MPB this weekend, because I am looking to sell some of this gear that I just don't use anymore and don't use at all anymore, and looking to purchase something that's actually going to be useful for me, which I technically already purchased. As soon as I get this to them, they will then calculate how much it's actually worth and then ship me off the camera that I purchased and whatever money extra is there. So the first thing I want to talk about is my Canon T3i. Actually, let me move this out of the way and I'll just pull these out as I need to. My Canon T3 I actually asked my parents for this for Christmas or my birthday. My God. I asked for this for my birthday last year, 2 years ago now. I was really interested in learning color grading, and I wanted to use Magic Lantern on this. And I didn't realize that there was such a bottleneck with Magic Lantern on the T3i. And it ended up kind of just being a camera that sat on that shelf back there and didn't see any love. But this camera is actually totally usable. This camera works perfectly fine. It's a great little camera. And if it works, then I have no reason to just keep it. Like, somebody else could use this camera and get a lot of use out of it, and I'm not that person. So Magic Lantern was cool. Would love to play around with it one day, maybe on the M1, like EOS M1 or the EOS M camera, rather than this thing, just because the EOS M has a lot cooler functionality. But for now, this T3i is no longer mine. The second camera that I'm actually selling is my Canon 80D. And the reason for that mostly lies in the fact that I haven't used this thing since I got my EOS RP. Like, this thing was a great camera at the beginning of my YouTube journey. I'm actually selling my Tokina 11 to 16 millimeter lens as well. Just because I don't love this lens. I'll talk a little bit more about it here in a moment. I just don't use this thing, and somebody else could get some great functionality and a great camera, and this camera is amazing for stills. But I've moved so far into the realm of video that this camera I just don't use it, and I would rather put this money towards something else. Along with that camera, I'm actually selling my EF S24 millimeter lens as well. I don't have a crop sensor camera that can use it anymore, and to be honest, it's just not really that necessary or needed. I don't have an EF camera anymore, and I don't plan on getting one for the foreseeable future. And if I do, I don't think this camera is going to be this lens rather, is going to be that expensive to repurchase if I really want it or need it. So I just decided it was time to let it go, which is kind of sad. This was like one of the first lenses that I purchased when I first started photography way back in the day. And this lens shot a lot of pictures for me in college. And so I am a little sad to get rid of this one, but I know that it will go to a great home somewhere in the ecosystem of life. Let's talk about a camera that I thought I was going to love, and a camera that actually hasn't done anything for me at all. And if I can find some of it, I will put some of the footage I shot with it here so that you can kind of look and see what I've done. I've actually used this camera on a bunch of vlogs on this channel, and it got sidelined very, very quickly once I got my ZV-E10. And that would be my Lumix G100. And you might be asking yourself, like, Tanner, why are you selling this camera? You talked praise about it. Here's the thing. It's an 8-bit camera. It doesn't have any in-body image stabilization like Lumix is known for. It literally is the ZV-E10, but way, way, way worse. It's an all-right photo camera. For my photo-specific cameras, I dislike the flip screen. I have the Fujifilm X-T10 that has a tilt screen that I will talk about a little bit at the end of this video. And it's a much better camera than this. This does have 20 megapixels. It is a nice image. I think it might have the same sensor or a similar sensor to the GH5 that I use quite regularly, that's living back there behind me on that shelf. But this camera just didn't do it for me. It never hit the mark. It never really landed where I needed it to land. And it just ended up not being that reliable in a YouTube camera either, because autofocus isn't that good. The quality of the actual camera isn't amazing. And then when you shoot 4K on this camera, it automatically crops in even at 30 frames per second and 24 frames per second. So no matter what, if I want to shoot 4K, I have to be dealing with a crop, and I don't want to do that whatsoever. So I'm selling it. The two lenses that I'm selling with that are actually these two lenses here, the Lumix 12 to 32. I'm not sure if, I think this lens might have OSS in it. Yeah, optic image stabilization. Like this lens has image stabilization, and this is the kit lens that comes with the camera, which is lovely. Like I love this that this has image stabilization. But if you've ever used Micro Four Thirds, you would know that since the sensor is so small, it doesn't really collect a lot of light. So when you're dealing with a kit lens, whenever the aperture is a, what the heck is this one? 3.5 to 5.6 on a crop sensor or a full frame camera, that's not that bad. But on a run and gun camera where I'm not in full control of the light all the time and where the ISO doesn't really work that well and it's really bad in low light, this lens doesn't really work for me unless I'm outside. So that's why I'm getting rid of this. And I also decided at the moment to get rid of this Lumix 14mm lens. The reason for that is I just don't use it at all. Since I got my GH5 with the Lumix 12 to 35mm lens, it kind of just blows this lens out of the water. I do have the 50mm 1.7 that I use quite regularly. That lens is great and I love that lens. But this one, I just don't really care that much. It's an f2.5, so it's not that amazing or that much better than just shooting at 14mm on the actual zoom lens itself. And I actually think this one has a little bit more barrel distortion. I haven't shot with it in a very, very, very long time, which is another reason why I'm getting rid of this lens. But at the end of the day, I just figured, why not? Let's just move on from the Micro Four Thirds system for now and put all my eggs in one basket for a little while and see what I like, because I've been kind of jumping back and forth between camera brands for so long that I think it's finally time to settle down and just use one of them. And with that being said, I would like to introduce you to the final camera that I will be selling. Yes, I know it's crazy. I just purchased this camera, but I'm actually letting go of my EOS R50V. And you might be asking yourself, why would you be letting this camera go? You were super excited about it. This was a camera that was really on my list of things to purchase. I wanted this camera since it came out. It looked really awesome. I wanted to shoot a Canon camera. I wanted to see what Canon offered versus Sony. And for me right now, in my line of work, in who I am, the stuff that I do, I'm gonna tell you what, this camera was a mistake of a purchase. Now, the handful of times I did shoot with it, this camera was actually lovely. I mean, I have nothing to complain about when it comes to the actual camera itself, but it didn't do everything I needed it to do to work outside of YouTube either. So I do a lot of event recordings for my job, and in general, like shooting 4K 60 and having that option without a crop is lovely, and the R50V just doesn't offer anything like that. It also offers kind of crappy codecs, and I don't love C-Log3 as much as I like S-Log3 for Sony. And realistically speaking, I was using this Tokina 11 to 16mm lens, which I talked a little bit about in the last vlog, or in the last video, and I just am not a fan of the way that it was looking. So if you guys are new, I used my Sony ZV-E10 as my webcam for my gaming setup. And I was looking to pull that off and start using it for my podcast equipment. And so I said, okay, well, the R50V is a perfect camera, right? I spent a few $100s on this. I can toss this up. It'll give me a great image. If I want to use it to record 4K to an SD card, I can do that too. Well, if I'm streaming 4K to my computer, I can't record to this camera. It will not record and do a clean HDMI over to the computer at the same time. So that stinks. That's already a check mark away from it, but okay, I can deal with that. That's not the end of the world. All right. But number two, I realized that this Tokina 11 to 16mm lens was awful. Like, this lens was literally so bad. And the reason for that is because of the color fringing, the distortion, the everything and anything, right? Like I'm using a Tokina lens right now. I am using the 11 to 18 Sony version right now to record on my a6700. And this lens, even full out at 11 millimeters like this, I know because I've been using it for almost a full year now. I've been using this. No, actually, I've probably been using this way longer than that, probably like a year and a half. This lens was like the first camera lens I got to vlog with. I've been using it for so many videos. And the thing about it is I bought that because it was cheap, and it ended up being such a good purchase. This lens, however, the older EF version, was awful. And I realized that if I was going to use this camera, I needed to purchase a lens. And here's the thing about that. The cheapest lens I can get for the RF system at the time of me recording this is about $350, $400, which isn't the end of the world. You know, that's all right. You know, it's a doable price if I really wanted it, you know? But here's the thing. I realized that this camera wasn't really necessary for what I've been working on. The Canon R50V sitting here at my desk and having a 12 millimeter lens on it that records at 4K 30 and sometimes streams to my computer is kind of useless, to be honest. And not to say that the Canon R50 is bad. I mean, this camera does shoot very nice quality video. But I decided to get something else. So let's talk about it. So I decided to pull the trigger on a Sony ZV-E10 Mark II for my YouTube studio camera system. Now, the reason I did that was because it felt like the most economical camera body to purchase, because I already have this 11 to 18 millimeter lens that I can use as my studio lens that can sit here in the studio. It can do what I need it to do, and I don't have to move it around or use it for anything else. If I want to pull it off, it's a small enough camera to come out and be my vlog camera, and then my 6700 and my FX30 could just be my production cameras, and then eventually I could get the ZV-E10 original to be a part of my podcast kit, and then I want to grab most likely a ZV-E1, I think, as my new run and gun full frame camera that I can build my full frame lens kit off of while building up my money to eventually get an FX3 or an FX6 or whatever that looks like. Now, I know and understand that everyone has gripes with different camera brands, and you might be upset or sad that someone is getting rid of their Canon camera in favor of Sony, depending on how you look at it. But I am only doing what I have to do economically to get the gear that is going to best serve what I'm currently making and doing. If the Canon R50V was better, or if a few months ago when I got the 16 millimeter lens, if I still had that lens, I still might be hanging out with that camera and it might literally be recording me right now. But I made a decision back then to sell that lens back to the manufacturer, get my money back, and use that on different equipment that I needed, like batteries or lights and other things, because at the time I didn't need it, and obviously I don't need it now either. What I need is a frictionless system that will work better for me, and having a third Sony body with the same sensor that I can use for things and most of the time be my YouTube setup camera, geez, I can't speak, is exactly what I'm looking for right now while I'm trying to build a brand and make higher quality videos. So with that, you guys know I'm getting the ZV-E10 Mark II. I don't know when. Obviously that will be in a video once I actually get the camera. I'm also going to be purchasing a webcam. I'm going to get the Hollyland Lyra webcam, the 1-inch or 1.5-inch size sensor webcam that shoots 4K 30. I want to try and just see what it would be like to have a camera set up like this, right? Maybe like super wide at 11 millimeters, that maybe is also hooked up to my computer. And then I can have a webcam up here that kind of is my normal viewpoint for things like the YouTube videos that I do with West and Salty. which would be pretty fun. And I'm just looking for something that's a little bit easier. And I don't need all my cameras mounted around here all the time because I use them for so much stuff. One of my goals this year is to create a new system in this room. And that includes finally, which will be in the next video, Carly and I are vacuum sealing the mattress that's been next to me since we moved in. We are breaking down the bed frame, and this room is going to become my actual office. This is not going to be the guest room anymore. This room is going to straight up be an office. I'm going to have a little cabinet next to me once we break down the bed and I get the cabinet. And I'm gonna have like a little recording set over here. I'm gonna have my desk set up over here. And I want to revamp the desk and move things around and make this place more cohesive to what I'm currently doing. So for me, a big thing this year is I want it to be more frictionless. I want to be able to sit down and click record and have fun more often than not. And this little tripod is like the best thing I could have bought because now I can just leave my A6700 here. I'm not even gonna move it. I'm gonna unplug the microphone, sure, let that plug in and charge a little bit. And I can plug that in here and there. But I do have a boom mic above me that you might have seen when I was taking the monitor down and setting this up that might actually work pretty well for what I want to do, but I need to test those things and see how they sound and see how they work, because I'm not sure if a boom mic would be better or if getting a microphone specific to talking head and all that stuff. I have a lot to worry about when it comes to this set, but I'm really excited to see where this year could take me on this channel and where it could take me on my other channels. So if you're still watching, hi, thank you, I appreciate it. I am also going to, after I finish this, I bought these Moleskine notebooks today, and I'm going to be setting up my first ever gaming journal. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna write it all out, I'm going to create it, and then I'm gonna make a video about it for my gaming channel, which will be linked below. If you guys wanna check that out, go check that out. And yeah, I am super pumped about this. I've been wanting to find a different way to enjoy video games for a while, and I really think this is gonna be it for me. So, all right, that's it for me. 2026 is gonna be a super interesting year. I didn't wanna make a super crazy video today. I didn't want to do anything crazy with vlogging. But next video, we're going to talk about my camera bags, my camera gear, what I'm using, what I have been using. And I said that I would talk about my Fujifilm X-T10 in this video, but I think I'm going to save it for next video. So I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and goodbye.